Yes, it is the hour that everybody looks forward to, and I'm telling you, I know that we've got people moving closer to the radio right now, turning it up in your car, and you better turn it up nice and loud, because today's conversation with our esteemed guest, Assalamu alaikum, Coach Zaid. How are you doing today?
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. It's blistering outside and it's going to be very uncomfortable inside.
Yeah, I don't know. It might get hotter in here than it is out there. I prefer there. But yes, today we are getting straight into our topic of the day, which is
Choosing your advisors carefully, and I mean like really carefully. Choosing your advisors, not just like being whimsical about, hey, I need help, I need to go and see a therapist.
okay. So when we talk about advisors in specific, we're talking about therapists.
No, I'm saying in general.
In
right?
general.
But it's such a cliche these days that if you're having problems in your marriage, go to a therapist, go to counseling. If you're having this problem in your life, go to a coach, go to whatever. We need to be a bit more discerning, a bit more deliberate and conscious about what problem are we trying to solve and who's equipped to help us solve it.
So that's the thing, the equipment part, the equip. Who is equipped? How do we determine whether someone is equipped or not?
Well, that becomes that much more difficult for you to determine if you don't even know what problem you're actually trying to solve.
Okay.
And hint, let's start getting cancelled early today.
Mhm.
If you're trying to solve how you feel about something, you're solving the wrong problem. Your feelings about something is in response to the problem, it's not the problem itself.
Okay.
So if you go to someone who's going to validate your feelings, yeah, they're part of the problem.
Okay. And some people aren't going to therapy to actually get help, right?
Yep.
They're going so that they want to hear from someone else that I am right.
That's pretty much. So usually the person who initiates the therapy or initiates the counseling or whatever it is, the intervention, they're convinced that they have a better handle on the situation, so that's why they're trying to get their partner to like cooperate and get with the process.
Yeah. Get it from. They need, it's amazing how they walk in and then they say, they need to understand where they went wrong.
They don't ever understand how I feel.
Yes.
They don't understand what they do to me.
Yes.
Yeah, there's merit to all of it. I'm not, let me not be flippant about this.
Yes.
Yes, there is merit in how you feel about it, and there is merit about how it is that your partner has impact on you, right? But that is only a small part of the problem. And like I told someone this morning, problems, especially in relationships, they don't get created in a vacuum. It's not because one person is just consistently not cooperating and the other person is doing everything right. There are exceptions where that may be true because of how distracted one of the partners can be about other aspects of life and they just lose sight of what impact they have. But for the majority of relationships that I've encountered, people have problems because they stop trying to understand each other and they look for what they need from each other. And that stop trying to understand each other, that's because they got to a point where they made unhealthy assumptions about the motives of their partners towards them. And then you go to a counselor or a therapist or a coach and they start labeling your partner. Your partner is bipolar, your partner is a narcissist.
Yes.
Right? And that's a red flag. If ever there's a red flag in therapy, it's if your therapist or your counselor or coach, your advisor, anyone for that matter. And I'm being deliberately broad about this, right? Because sometimes we don't go to therapy, we go to a family member. We go to an elder. And because of their stature, because they're an elder or they're a family member that's respected or they're someone we look up to, we trust them blindly.
Yeah.
So the moment someone starts talking about how it is that your partner is like this and your partner is like that, but they haven't had a meaningful engagement with that partner about the issue you're trying to solve, that is a red flag for the advisor that you are talking to.
Absolutely.
Run away.
Aye, people run towards. They're like, yeah,
Yes.
you see, you understand.
You see, they agree with me, so you are the problem.
Yes, and I think that when we said advisors, the advisors even in the family who know, who are aware and are biased as well.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
oh, it's already starting to get interesting.
Yes. What about that?
That's one of the biggest problems. I 100% maintain the view that the support structures of a couple fail before the couple fails. So the support structures fail the couple in the way that they advise them, in the way that they encourage them, in the way that they create space for them to be able to navigate this new life together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what creates unnecessary duress in the relationship that they then believe is a problem between the couple.
Mm.
So we need to definitely have a conversation about the role of support structures in the failing relationships and failing marriages and failing homes that we see around us, right?
That's very important.
And maybe that's a topic for another show, right?
Yeah.
But if the couple doesn't realize that that's what's happening, they're going to play to it. And the biggest problem is that couples, when they have problems, they go to their own families, their own support structures, and they test loyalty.
Mm.
Are you on my side or on their side?
Mm.
Whose side are you on? Who are you supporting in this? Why don't you understand what I need, what I feel, how I expect things, and all of that sort of thing?
Yeah.
And that's not solving the problem.
No. And the thing is, when they are told something that is like they are doing wrong, like a true, somebody who's going to look out for the couple's best interest is going to be the person that says, but what role do you play in all this? And that's the person they're going to run from.
Aha. And if you going for advice and you feel triggered by that question,
Mm-hmm.
then you just discovered your blind spot,
Yes.
right? Because when we set out to look for advice, we need to be sincere about what problem are we trying to solve. Are we trying to prove that our partner is wrong and we're right? Or are we setting out to genuinely understand how can we improve this dynamic, because this isn't the person I thought I was getting married to, or this isn't the person I thought I was with, right?
But that question, I just want to pause there. The why. What problem are you trying to solve here is very important. And I want listeners to make a note of this. Most often it is, in my experience, it's, can you see how wrong he is and how right I am? Or how wrong she is and how right I am? Like, I need people, that is the test of loyalty. Like,
Yes.
you have to agree that she is wrong. Are you looking out to prove that you are right? Or are you looking out to salvage your relationship and fix your relationship?
Exactly. Can you see how I'm doing so much and he's not doing much at all, or how she's always absent and busy with the socials and I'm the one taking care of everything?
Yes. And then the support structure's going,
Yes.
yes, you
Yeah.
work, you do this. Oh, my child, we see you. Don't you worry. And now, what are we essentially doing as a support structure when we do that?
We're creating more polarization. So what problem are you trying to solve? Are you trying to solve a problem of proving how it is that everyone must see how difficult you have it?
Yeah.
You're looking for validation. Or are you trying to solve the problem of, hey, I know that there's good potential in our relationship and there's something that's just not gelling for us. So how do we figure why it's not gelling, right? Because, and this is a golden kind of rule that we need to remind ourselves about whenever we're talking about any interaction between us and another person. If we don't like their behavior, we need to consider whether we genuinely believe that they're a good person or a bad person. Like intrinsically, their nature. Are they a good person or are they a bad person? And if you decide that no, they are a good person, there's goodness in them, but I don't like that behavior, then your question should be, why would a good person, the good person why would they be behaving badly?
Yeah.
Is it through deliberate intent? Is it through ulterior motives? Is it through an agenda? Is it through willful neglect? Or is it because they're distracted about something that's weighing them down and they need an escape that is just problematic for the relationship? So when we that deliberate about what we're trying to figure out, then we can take that problem and we can go to someone who might understand the dynamics and say, this is what I'm seeing, but help me to understand why he or she is behaving this way.
Okay. So my next question then would be, is it okay to go to family members for advice?
What is your reason for going to family members? Are you going to someone that you look up to as a role model? Or are you going to someone that you know is going to sympathize with you? Is it someone in your corner? Or is it someone that makes you feel safe? That makes you feel safe thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll come back to that one.
Yeah.
Because the whole point is that you're choosing an advisor because you believe, or you should be choosing an advisor because you believe they have the merit and the understanding and the wisdom of how life works relative to the problem that you're trying to solve. So you don't go to someone who's never been married and ask them how to raise children. You don't go to someone who's never been married and ask them to tell you how it is that you never need to navigate a difficult experience with your partner in marriage. Right? You need to understand that you need to go to someone who is credible in that specific problem you're trying to solve, not just someone who is respected.
That's very important. Somebody who's credible in the experiences that you are, or in the problem that you are trying to solve. So now, how do I choose an advisor? What are the things that I need to look for in an advisor?
You need to see whether they are emotionally volatile. You don't want an advisor that's emotionally volatile. You need to see whether they are mature in the way they approach life. So, do you look up to them as a role model? That's a really important one, right? Especially when you're going to like family members or friends or people from your social circle, not in the professional space, right? In the professional space, we'll come to that. But when you're going to someone in your family, are you aspiring to live your life in the way that they live theirs? If not, you shouldn't be asking them for advice. So be conscious about why it is that you're going to that specific person. And even if someone appears on the outside that they know what's happening, don't just take everything they say blindly. You need to be a bit more critical in your thinking in what advice you're taking from them.
Yeah.
So they might be well-intentioned. They're also only getting your side of the story, so remember that. So if they give you advice about something, it's based on the information you gave them. So if you're going to be selective about what information you're sharing because you want it to fall in your favor, you're being dishonest and you're not solving the right problem. And then you are actually part of the problem.
And some people are just looking for enablers.
Oh, yes. We love being enabled.
Right? So how do I know? Like, I mean, obviously there's a fine line. There are people who are not really going to, and it's an ethical thing as well for therapists, right? Or for coaches or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, the person walks in, they basically don't look like they want a solution. They just want a soundboard. And that happens repeatedly.
Yes.
Right? What happens in that case?
I think you're touching on a very, very important and very painful point. Because if the ethics of therapists, coaches, counselors, whatever you want to call them, if the ethics generally was at the right level, I'm struggling for words here because it's like we have some really unethical people out there who parade themselves as sincere advisors, right? So if the ethics was where it's supposed to be, we'd have a lot more healthy relationships coming out of therapy rather than breaking relationships coming out of therapy.
Yeah. And I think like people grow dependent. They start using it as a crutch.
Yes, and that's where the ethics comes into question. Are you going to someone who is stringing you along for as many sessions as they can get out of you? Are they trying to maximize the amount of sessions that your medical aid is going to pay for? Or are they genuinely looking to solve a problem with you? Right? Now, as a standing rule, the way I hold myself accountable in this regard, and I'm not suggesting that my ethics is better than everyone else or whatever, it's just this is my grounding point. If I find myself working through the same problem in the same way with the same person repeatedly for more than just 2 or 3 discussions, then I question whether I'm doing my job, right? Because if you're not introducing something new into the conversation, and I mean not just for the sake of introducing something new, but something substantially different about the way you're unpacking, understanding, evaluating the problem that you're trying to solve. If that's not happening in every single discussion, you're wasting your time and you're wasting your money. And a therapist or a counselor who is happy to continue having that redundant discussion with you every single time, they're enabling you.
Yeah. And they're maximizing, they're basically using your problem to their advantage.
Yes, because they're more interested in cash flow than they are in whether or not they're providing the help that they signed up to provide.
And that's the thing. How do you know you're dealing with a genuine person? How do you know that, you know what, this person is not creating new problems and trying to string me along and keep me here?
Yeah. You need to hold yourself accountable for what it is that you are looking to achieve out of it. You can't go to someone and say, hey, I just don't like my life, help me. Yeah. You have to know what it is about your life that you don't like. Is it your personal life? Is it your professional life? Is it your social life? What is it about your life that you don't like?
Yeah.
There's no one's life that is so dreary that there is nothing good in it. And the one thing that I always focus on is you build on the positives. You don't emphasize the negatives.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the more you build on the positives, the more it gives you a clearer perspective on how it is that you can take the negative stuff, the stuff that's not helpful, and you can work with it, so because now you see you've got competence and capability to create something positive.
Absolutely. And I think that there are people who magnify and amplify the negatives to
Yes.
keep people in therapy. They're like, no, you should focus on your depression. You should
Yes.
focus on the problem.
And there's another sinister motive that drives people to keep people in therapy or to focus on emphasizing and exploding the problem. It's because there's no shortage of therapists who project their personal experiences onto the case they're dealing with.
Yeah.
And then they suddenly see a victim in someone who has a similar experience that they had.
Yeah.
And then they want to save the victim from the aggressor and from the oppressor and from the abuser. The moment you get a therapist who is personally kind of invested in that way, you've got good reason for concern, because you're not going to get an unbiased perspective of what's really going on.
Yeah.
And that bias is what the problem is, because that's what plays out with family members as well, right? Is that family members are biased because of loyalty, of blood, of familiarity and closeness. And that's why when family members get involved, if they are polarizing, if they are choosing loyalty, like we need to protect you from them,
Yes.
and we mustn't allow his family or her family to treat you this way, they're not helping you. They're creating more problems.
And that's something that is very common, right?
Yes.
It's very common, especially in our culture, in our community, in our society. There's us and them.
Yes.
Us and them. Even when your kid is married, there's always still that polarization. Like, yeah, but you know, that family, you know?
And you know what's a funny part? Is that there's not a single wedding reception that I've attended where someone from either party said, oh, we just have a new daughter in our family, or we have a new son in our family.
Yes.
But then the moment the wedding ceremony is over, it's like
Yeah.
us and them. It's like, don't let him do this and don't let her do that.
And I think that's so dangerous when we start having those conversations. You know, don't let him do that. Don't let his mother say this to you. Oh, and it can be as innocent as, you know, even the girl, daughter-in-law, whatever, did not even notice that. But her family would be like, did you see the way they spoke to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
Exactly.
girl's like, what? I didn't even.
Yeah.
But there we have problem created. So support structures can absolutely, I agree with you 100%. They can end the marriage.
Yes, unfortunately. And they can end the marriage for all the wrong reasons. And if you don't realize that you ended your marriage for all the wrong reasons, that will create a lot of animosity and bitterness later on towards your support structures, which you need more than ever after you've gone through such a breakup and things. And it's going to lead to a lot of regret. When you look back and think, well, we could have saved it.
Yeah.
It wasn't such a bad issue.
Yeah, could have been
Right.
handled better.
And there's another part to it as well, is that if you don't have that realization, if you don't have that clarity after you're out of the emotional sway, which is what I'm saying, if you're emotionally charged, don't assume that you're being critical or reasonable about the way you're going about rationalizing how you need to solve the problem, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is if you don't ever get out of that emotionally charged state, because some people are permanently emotionally charged,
Yes.
right? Don't talk to me about that, you know how it affects me still.
Yes.
And that's like 20 years later.
Yeah.
Right? If that's your state, 20 years later, you're never ever going to get to a point where you can consider what did you do wrong.
No.
And it's not about whether you were right or wrong in that relationship. It's about if you don't recognize what you did wrong in that relationship, you will keep doing it wrong in every other relationship and you'll be convinced that everyone else is wrong.
And you are definitely not the right person
Mhm.
for anyone to come to for
Yes.
advice. Because you have those people going, oh, I went through the same thing.
Yes.
Let me tell you how I handled it. And it's
And
just
that's a red flag.
all
The
downhill.
moment someone starts out with, I went through the same thing, let me tell you how I did it
Yes.
and what they did to me.
Yes.
No. That's you just having a little party of, a pity party of sharing your sorrows and sharing your pity for each other. You're not looking to solve a problem.
But that's the thing in our society, in our communities. This is what we see, is that those are the people that these, you know, people who are in distress go to for advice.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like, after 10, 20 years, they can't even remember where it all began. They don't even know
Yes.
why. They don't even know how. And you come to find it would have just taken a simple conversation of understanding, of being understood, of communication. I mean, I always ask, what is there that we can't talk about?
There should be nothing that is above reproach in discussing marriage issues or relationship issues or life issues.
Yes.
Because the whole point of that intervention or that mediation, whatever you want to call it, the whole point of it is to figure it out.
Yes.
If you're going to have something that is like, oh no, we don't go there,
Yeah.
then if that's the source of the problem, you're never ever going to figure it out.
Absolutely. And I have this thing where if I'm angry and I go to someone who amplifies my anger, I'm like, you're not helping.
Yeah.
If I go to someone and they amplify my crazy, then I'm like, no, you're not helping me. No, you can't be louder than me. That's not fair. It's not about
Right,
you.
exactly.
Yes.
And here's the thing, right? If you like to have your anger validated,
Yes.
just go and get yourself some pool noodles and moor each other.
Exactly. Exactly that. Thank you for that idea. Because really, you go to someone for advice and they make it about them as
Yes.
well. Right?
Yeah.
And then you sitting there and it switches, you now become counselor of the person you went to get counsel.
Yes. And suddenly you have to make them feel better about the experience that they went through because you're going through something similar
Exactly. Then you walk away from there feeling, now I got two problems. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't feel any better. They should have paid you.
Yes.
Literally. So, there's a lot of, I agree, in that you seek advice from people, and I feel the person that you are talking to needs to be objective.
now. Hmm.
And you need to be open to that feedback, that constructive criticism.
And how does your advisor, counselor, therapist, how do they respond when you challenge them? Do they get defensive and personal? Or do they listen and understand why it is that you might not be receiving it the way they're intending it?
Yeah, and I also feel that getting personal, it's a very big red flag.
I remember going to see, in one of my previous lifetimes, going to see this person that was recommended as a very skilled relationship counselor, marriage counselor. And she mentioned something, and I said, but I don't think that's the problem. I think, we're not dealing with the root cause here. We're dealing with, a distraction. She flipped her lid at me. And she started telling me about her credentials, and she started telling me about how it is that she advises this quality of people, and she's lecturing those kind of classes and all of that because she's so skilled at what she does. Who am I to question her?
Wow.
The moment you get a response like that from anyone, whether it's a counselor, therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist, elder in your family, you're speaking to the wrong person.
Wow. Just the fact that they feel challenged by your disagreement about your life, by the
Yes.
way. About your personal.
And you have a vested interest in hey, I need to be sure that this is the right thing we're talking about.
Yes.
Now, if they get personally offended by the fact that you're saying, I don't think that's the right thing,
Yeah.
and they're not more invested in trying to get you to understand why, yes, I can see why you think that's what you should be looking at, but this is the reason why you shouldn't. The moment it goes beyond that and becomes personal, like, who do you think you are to come and tell me how it is that life works, or how I should advise you in it, and if you think you know so much, then don't ask me and all that. When they get to that point, you're speaking to the wrong person.
You might as well have been talking to your neighbor.
Yeah.
Like, how many marriages I saved on the street? I put these people together. I
Yes.
get them together. That's not okay. That's a very insecure person.
Yes. What problem are you trying to solve?
No.
What problem are you trying to solve? Are you trying to feel better about yourself? Are you trying to convince yourself that your partner's the problem and it's not you? Or are you trying to solve a problem of, hey, I really think that there's something good between us, but we're getting in our own way. How do we fix it?
Absolutely. And then identifying who's our biggest supporters. And I think that addressing the fact that, look, I don't like who you go to for advice.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I don't like it is because when you come back, you are definitely different. And that's not the way we can sit down and talk. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm talking to your advisor when I'm talking to you.
Yes.
That's also an issue. Copy and paste.
Yes. And that's the problem. Oh boy, this is going to cause a stir. One of the biggest myths about relationship counseling, so to speak, right? And we're talking about relationships because that's like the dominant kind of issue that causes people to want to go for counseling or therapy or whatever you want to call it, right? One of the biggest myths is that if one person is seeing a counselor or therapist, the other person has to see someone else because there's a conflict of interest now, or there's going to be a lack of bias or something, or whatever it is. That's not true. The biggest problem with seeing two different people is that what you describing to your person and what they describing to their person is going to be understood and framed differently.
Yes.
The one person could be validating you, the other person could be telling them that no, this is what the problem is, and then when you have your joint conversation about it, boom. It's like, oh yeah, she told me I could expect this from you, and yeah, she told me that I could expect that from you. Yeah. And then you like at each other's throats again instead of actually establishing understanding.
Yeah. And I also think couples need to understand that the therapist is not there to take sides.
No.
Your coach is not there to choose who's righter and wronger and all of that. The worst experiences that I get is they phone me separately and one tries to, it's tug of war. Can you see? This is, did he show you this? Did he say that? Can I send this to you? Can I send the chat to you? And then when we meet, they're like, I've prepared her. You know, now you'll see fireworks in this session.
And then if you don't take their side on that, then they feel as if you betrayed them.
This is the wrong therapist.
Yeah, like how could you, I showed you everything. How can you still agree with him or with her, right?
Yes.
It's just ridiculous the way we've been kind of conditioned, or the way we have these norms that have been established about how to go about solving marital issues or relationship issues is just beyond ludicrous.
Yes.
That's why we've got people cutting people off, and we've got toxic parents and the cancel culture. It's just, it's like, come on, look around you.
Yeah.
Are we getting better or worse? We're not getting better.
No.
That means this new age thinking about how it is that we think life works, it doesn't work.
Yeah. And that's the thing, you know, now we're getting counseled on TikTok. Right? So we look for all of our signs and symptoms. We hear somebody going, are you feeling lonely, but you are in a relationship? Does your partner pick up their phone when you are in a conversation? You're like, oh, that's him, that's him, that's him.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the diagnosis is there and they're like, well, this is what I did. I bossed up. I leveled up. I shut him out. When we could have just had a conversation.
That's the equivalent of people like 10 years ago going on to WebMD and putting in their symptoms and saying, oh, I've got cancer.
Absolutely. I will never do that again. I will never ever Google symptoms of my headache ever again. I thought I was chronically, like, terminal.
It's confirmation bias.
Yes.
And that's a critical thing when it comes to asking your advisors and that, right?
Yeah.
Do you have confirmation bias or do they have confirmation bias? And if either one has it, then you've got a problem. So if you're going to an advisor who recognizes what it looks like, then they'll be able to call you out and they'll be able to redirect you when you are showing confirmation bias. And confirmation bias is how it is that the easiest way to describe it is if you're driving down the road and you're looking for all the red cars, you're going to see all the red cars, right? Then when you get to your destination, I ask you, how many green cars were there? I don't know. Okay, so you're saying that there weren't any green cars there. No, I'm sure there must be some green cars there, but I wasn't looking for the green cars, I was looking for the red cars.
Yeah.
So now when you're going to therapy, or when you're having a conversation with your partner, are you looking for all the faults? Or are you looking for everything that's there?
This is so amusing to me because I once had a case of somebody who wrote down 52 points on a foolscap notepad, brought it in, everything. And the poor partner sat there stoked. And she was like, I said, where's your list? And she's like, I got 2 things. And I'm like, 52 versus 2.
And that brings me to a critically important point. When you're going for counseling or therapy, don't do joint sessions. Please, don't. Joint sessions just compels you to want to put your best argument forward to make sure that the third party that you're now speaking to understands exactly where you're coming from.
100%.
And you know what I see every single time there was a joint session? Because sometimes couples insist we want to do a joint session. It's okay, no problem, let's do the joint session. And the one thing that always happens is I get this look of exasperation on the partner's face. Like, I didn't know you thought that about me. I didn't know you saw it that way. And that's the problem. You're so focused on presenting your best argument that you lose sight of the fact that you're actually maligning your partner in a way that you otherwise wouldn't do it if you were just having a one-on-one conversation with them.
Absolutely.
So if you're going to do a joint session, your joint session is going to turn into a bun fight, and it's going to create more cracks and more flaws and more issues in your relationship, because you're going to be presenting things to a third party in a way that your partner probably didn't hear you say it in that way before.
Absolutely.
Right? And generally the response from the third party, from the therapist or the counselor, is going to tell you how you must communicate and how you must listen and how you must pay attention and how you must make time, and then you come with the date night solutions and all of that. No. Shoot me down for this if you want to. I don't care. Date nights and all of that must be a consequence of a good relationship. It mustn't be the reason for a good relationship.
100%. And it's consistency. It's a proactive thing that should
Yes.
be doing, not as a result of this. Now you start date night. Sounds like a punishment.
And just to add to that, intimacy shouldn't be a consequence of fulfilling each other's rights. It should be a consequence of the need to want to be close. Like, seriously, come on.
Yes.
It's like we've got kindergartners with adult privilege.
I cannot tell you how people throw that. It's my right out. I have rights, and you have to fulfill those rights. What does that do, that statement?
It just emphasizes the problem. It doesn't solve anything. And the one thing that I always maintain is that there is not a single relationship I've ever intervened on or worked with where the absence of understanding each other's rights was the reason why they had a problem.
Yeah. You know?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that was your right before. Now I know it's your right, so we're okay.
Yes.
Right.
If you ever wanted to know what coaches discuss on the flip side, this is enlightening. So we have a case of people having to understand that an advisor is somebody that's going to tell you when you are wrong.
Yes.
And that is the type of person.
I want to take that one step further. Your advisor shouldn't tell you whether you're right or you're wrong. Your advisor is supposed to make you aware of what you are actually doing versus what you said your intention was.
Okay.
Right? So if I'm intending to be more kind of, available, present in my relationship with my partner, my advisor mustn't tell me whether I'm right or wrong in what I'm doing. They must just let me know that, okay, I know that's what you're intending to do, but recognize that what you're doing is actually causing this. So if that's not what you want to cause, you need to reconsider how you're going about it, right? Because, and this is why I hate the term therapy, because we go out looking for understanding about, hey, why is this not working? Why is this always getting the wrong response? Why is it that I'm not getting through to them or whatever it is? It's always the why we're looking for. And why is about understanding. It's not about methods and exercises and communication styles and all of that nonsense. It's not about love language. Why is about what you don't understand about the impact you're having on someone or the impact they're having on you.
Yeah.
When you understand that, you figure out yourself how it is that you want to show up. It's like, on my way I was thinking, we're always looking for these ideals in marriage and ideals in relationships. But I honestly believe that if you have two people that are equally dysfunctional, they'll get along well.
How true is that?
Right? And that's the thing. As a therapist or as an advisor or a counselor, it's not your place to impose your value system on your clients.
Of course.
It's about you having an understanding and appreciation for what their value system is,
Yeah.
and then helping them to understand whether their value system is either problematic or is it something that they're just working against, which is why they're not achieving the outcomes that they're hoping to. Because everyone's got good intention. Everyone goes into a relationship because they have aspirations of their ideals and their romantic notions about what kind of life they want to create. And my one question to people is always, why is it that you guys had such alignment before you got married, with the courtship and everything else,
Yeah.
and suddenly after marriage you guys just can't see eye to eye on anything?
And then what did they say? You only know someone when you live with them.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's the cop-out.
Yes.
But the reality is that the only reason why that changes is because neither one of you were prepared for the expectation you felt after marriage.
Yeah.
Because then suddenly, what was enough in the courtship is not enough after marriage. So now suddenly I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
Suddenly I'm not doing enough. Suddenly you need so much. You're so demanding. You're so needy. No, it's because your reality has physically, realistically, tangibly changed. So what worked in the courtship is not going to be enough for the marriage. And if you're not emotionally mature enough to embrace that change in reality, that's where you're going to get a problem. And that is another important point, is that relationships experience problems most often because the two people in the relationship have differing emotional maturity levels. Now, take that and apply it to your relationship with your counselor or your therapist. If your emotional maturity level is more than your counselor or therapist, oh boy.
I need bananas. I'm just saying.
Grandpa.
Hi. Codeine something. Because I mean, we see this play out,
All the
right?
time.
We see this play out. And you're thinking to yourself, like, of course things are different. The reality of courtship and living together is different. Responsibilities, finances. Did you not discuss? Did you not think that there was the business of living?
Mm-hmm.
And how do couples actually balance family time, alone time? They want those elements in courtship. It's so nice in courtship because then the guy says, no, mom, she doesn't want to come. She's got stuff to do. When you're married, they're like, that's my mother.
Yes. Don't disrespect me in front of my family.
Yes. So the expectations adjust
Yes.
with the title.
And let's talk about that because that's a really common contentious issue.
Yes.
Like he wants to spend so much time with his family or she wants to spend so much time with her family.
Yes.
Here's the thing. When you get married, what's important to your partner is important to you.
Mm.
Both ways. Not one way.
Yeah.
And it's not about ritual and it's not about tradition and it's not about customs and all of that. It's about what's important. Why is it important? And then because you claim to love them and care for them, you should understand why that should be important to you and how you're going to approach it so that you don't show a total disregard for what's important to them and vice versa. So when it comes to spending too much time by your family and all of that, it's not about whether you're spending too much time by someone's family or not. It's about, okay, if this is now becoming an impediment, if it's like hindering our ability to have our life,
Yeah.
then work with them to strike a balance with their family.
Yeah.
Don't put them between you and their family because that's the other big problem that we always have in relationships is that the advisors and the people, even the couple, they start testing loyalties. Who's more important, your mother or me?
Oh my goodness. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I also have rights, not your mother.
Yes. We married now.
Yes.
It's like, wow, this creates such issues. And what happens when you test loyalty?
Someone loses.
Yeah.
Always. You shouldn't ever have to test loyalty, and loyalty should never be the focus.
Mm-hmm.
It should always be about what's important. And what's important must be relative to your value system. And the one big mistake all couples make is they assume that because they were aligned in the courtship, that their value system about life after marriage is going to be the same. It's not. It's not supposed to. It never will be.
Mm-hmm.
Because your unique experiences of life will emphasize different values in different ways for you.
Yes.
So that's why emotional maturity is so important.
I feel like that is a whole topic for like 3 hours. Emotional intelligence.
Yes.
What it looks like, what it should feel like, what happens when people who are so different in terms of emotional intelligence, what happens to those relationships?
Yes.
I mean, it's not like they're doomed, but like something's got to give.
The one with more emotional maturity is always going to have to compensate for the one with less. And if the one with more emotional maturity doesn't realize that they are actually more emotionally mature, because this is self-awareness now we're talking about, right? If you don't realize where you're at compared to your partner, you're going to assume negatively about their motives towards you.
Yeah.
They're always doing this because they're selfish.
Yeah.
You won't say they're doing it because they don't have the awareness of how it affects us.
Yes. They simply like, why is he so dumb?
Yes.
He doesn't get it. He doesn't get me. That's
Just
what.
note how every time you give an example, you're talking about the man being wrong.
Yeah.
Every time I give an example, I'm talking about both of them being wrong.
I'm biased. Straight. I'm representing the woman. I'm not even a
Feminism, yay!
All the swear words you hate. Yay! Just to trigger you. See?
Yeah.
So it's like, listen, there's some topics that are extremely important. And if without having the self-awareness, I mean, you've got 2 people who get married very young. Right?
Yes.
And they're growing. I mean, I watched this one movie. It's a Hindi movie, and it's about this woman who is going to marry an older guy, and her family literally is like, but he's as old as your father. Like, how do we make a son-in-law out of someone who's sharing blood pressure medication with your father? And she simply says, he is mature. The people my age, I can't.
Exactly. And that's what emotional maturity does. It makes it relatable, or it makes it difficult to connect with.
Yeah.
And we're speaking lightly about so many big issues here, right? But this is a serious issue, right? Is that lives are destroyed, futures are completely derailed because people get bad advice from well-intentioned people. So just to qualify what I'm saying about the majority of kind of relationship counselors out there. I'm not saying that they are deliberately malicious in the way they go about it, or deliberately selfish in the way they go about it, but they have blind spots.
Yeah.
And they have blind spots because the mainstream norms have convinced us that, telling people how they must be with each other, how they must set up date nights, how they must communicate, that's the solution to having a better marriage. No, it's not. You need to see the person you're with, not see their compliance with what you think they're supposed to be doing.
That's very important. Can you please repeat that?
See the person you are with.
Yes.
Don't test them all the time for whether they are complying with what you think they're supposed to be about.
This comes to mind. I'm sorry, it just has to pop up, right? There was a time when I had a friend who was engaged, and then she told me the engagement is off. And I'm like, why? What happened? And she goes, I created an account and I invited him as another female, and he accepted. And then he continued to entertain this female. Coach Zaid, what would you say to my friend?
I think that he was lucky for you to call off that relationship. Because if you're testing him, then why did you even agree to get married to him in the first place? You don't agree to get married to someone before you believe that you guys have a trust and a bond that is substantial. So if you want to do that kind of a test, do it before you commit to marriage. Do it before you start talking about engagements and about long-term plans and about the life together and your dreams and everything else. Because you are just manipulating someone to test whether or not you are going to be treated the way you want to be treated. Then you're emotionally immature. If you have to test someone in that way, you're emotionally immature, because you can't have a conversation with them and in that conversation have enough awareness and understanding to determine whether they're actually telling you what you want to hear, or are they actually sincere and forthcoming in what it is that you're talking to them about.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the biggest problems, is that the couples, now we need to just be careful with this, right? Couples generally are not well equipped to get into marriage.
Yeah.
But that's not a problem. That's exactly why support structures are so critically important for the early years. Support structures help couples to navigate that early years when they're starting to figure out that marriage is a completely different kettle of fish compared to courtship. So if you're going to look for compliance, you're supposed to be like this and he's supposed to be like that, and this is how you're supposed to be in your marriage, and this is how you're supposed to prioritize things and how you're supposed to make time for each other. No, you're looking at like running your life according to a script. That is the most unfulfilling thing you can ever do, because even if someone follows the script 100%, you're always going to find the reason why it is that it just doesn't feel like enough. So at early years, from the moment that vows are solemnized, from that moment on, your expectations of each other changes fundamentally. But you're so romantically kind of overjoyed about everything that you're just not committed to, that you're working on idealisms, and your support structures are supposed to bring you back down to earth.
I wonder if our support structures are even equipped to do that. Or do they, their toxicity spills over into their advice, their life experience. We don't know. We just don't know who we're talking to. We don't know what their agenda is. I mean, how about those people who say, we never liked that person anyway for you.
We always thought you could do better.
You could do better. You deserve better. Right? Then what happens then? Was that comes out at the end, you know? So was all that advice informed by that?
And how many times, because of that belief of theirs, did they either withhold or subtly kind of throwing hints about the fact that he's not good enough for you?
Absolutely.
You're too good for him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you don't have a presence of mind and a sense of self that can like differentiate between what people are planting seeds versus what you believe is important about yourself and about your relationship with that person, what you like about them, then you're going to fall into that trap. And you're going to have your mind poisoned against your partner because people, in their well-intentioned nonsense, are convincing you how it is that you can do better than this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Coach Zaid, what is your message to our listeners today as we wrap up our conversation? How very...
Something that I forgot to bring in at the early part of our conversation, which is, if you are looking for an advisor on Facebook in a group and putting out your one-sided view of your life and expecting people to tell you how to solve your problem, you are the problem.
I 100% back that. There are specific Ask Somebody groups that
Yes, we're not mentioning any names.
We're not. But the comment section are not your advisors and
Oh my
therapists.
God, it's like disastrous commentary in there.
I absolutely.
And the amount of people that latch onto it because yes, that's all the victims. All the victim mentalities. And I promise you, you go to someone with a victim mentality for advice on how you should fix something in your relationship. Forget it. You are going to have so much of regret. I hope you have the emotional fortitude to deal with that regret when it hits you.
Absolutely. Coach Zaid, it has been an honor and a pleasure as usual. I hope that you don't have to take any headache tablets after this. Me, I have to go sit very quietly and put some things into perspective. I'm telling you. Our listeners are definitely appreciating the conversation. Muhammad saying thank you so much for this. Asha saying I needed to hear this. And then there are some advices here that have come in that I'm not going to even say again. So, Coach Zaid, till next week, inshallah, Jazakallah khair. And have an awesome week ahead.
And you too.
Thank
and to
you.
the listeners.
So yes, listeners, there you have it. You stay tuned to East Wave FM. I'm going to take my my glass of water with my headache tablet, and I'm going to sit very still. And wow. That was Coach Zaid. You stay tuned, and I'll be back, God willing, between 7 and 10 tomorrow morning. Bhageshri up next with The Woman's World.